Hey guys! Many of you may have an image on Japan as a country with a strong tradition of the video game. Even for us Japanese, video game is one of the proudest aspects of Japanese culture. Recently, a new ordinance went into effect in Kagawa Prefecture, Japan on April 1st of this year. That is the Game Addiction Regulation Ordinance. This is an ordinance that regulates children's time to play games. What I'm going to tell you today may be a bit sensitive. I don't want to be critical, I just want to tell you the truth, and I decided to make a video because I want to know what everyone except Japan will think of it. I'd love it if you could share your opinion on this issue with me. First of all, the background of this ordinance is that WHO recognized game addiction as a disease. In May of 2019, WHO, a new addiction has been identified as gaming disorder in which excessive playing of online games or video games makes daily life difficult. A gaming disorder is a condition in which the urge to play games becomes uncontrollable and takes precedence over everyday life. It refers to a condition in which a problem occurs, such as a loss of health, but continues to occur. A gaming disorder is diagnosed when there is a serious disruption to family, social, academic, or work, and these symptoms have lasted at least 12 months. The game is fun, but don't overdo it. It should be enjoyed as a part of entertainment, not as an obstacle to daily life. Most people will have figured that out. However, it is also true that some people rarely do too much. This gaming disorder has been identified as a disease in order to advance research to establish treatment and prevention methods for such people. In response to this, Kagawa Prefecture enacted and enforced the Game Addiction Regulation Ordinance. A brief description of the details of this ordinance goes like this. Under 18 years old person will be applied it. Permit playing up to 60 minutes per day and 90 minutes on holidays. Allow to use smartphones until 9 p.m. for junior high school students and younger, and until 10 p.m. for all other students. It is mandatory for schools and families to establish rules based on these guidelines, and related businesses are required to take the necessary measures to obey the rule. Game includes not only home games such as PlayStation and Nintendo, but also game apps for smartphones and games that can be found in game centers. The use of smartphones for non-study or communication purpose are also subject to apply, such as surfing websites on the internet or viewing YouTube. Although this ordinance itself has no penalties, it has been enforced as an ordinance, and the citizens who live in Kagawa concerned have a duty to protect it. That's a brief overview of this ordinance, but how do you think of it? I was honestly very disappointed when it was decided to enforce this ordinance. Of course, it may be an effective method in terms of preventing gaming disorders, but more than that, it limits the freedom of many children. The first thing noticed is the amount of time children can play the game, such as 60 minutes a day and the holidays are 90 minutes. There is no clear evidence that this time setting is optimal to prevent gaming disorder. It is based on a rather vague standard of time calculated backwards from school time, study time after coming home, time to eat dinner, and bedtime. Maybe it's enough time to play games every day, but there are probably more kids who can play games every day. The end of the school day and the amount of assignment will vary from day to day and from school to school. Family time, such as dinner time, vary from family to family, so the amount of time they can play games is limited even without an ordinance. I'm wondering if it's okay to limit it across the board. Especially in Japan, many junior and senior high school students study at cram school. In addition to studying at school, in some cases, students go to cram school not only after school on weekdays but also on holidays. For such children, it may feel stressful not to be able to enjoy the game until they are satisfied with it on the day off from school and cram school. Besides, to play the game as soon as possible, many of the children study hard to complete their assignments as quickly as possible. When I was a kid, I would give my all to an assignment because I wanted to play the game for even 1 second longer. I'm worried that limiting the amount of time they can play the game will also lose that motivation. The next issue I would like to take up is that related businesses are required to take the necessary measures to obey the law. Of course, this is just an obligation. Since most game-related businesses were opposed to this ordinance, not many positive measures have been taken so far. As a result, many game companies have not yet decided what to do, or are waiting to see what happens. However, a small number of game companies have already implemented measures. That is, one online game will deny all access from Kagawa Prefecture. It's difficult to recognize the age of those who access the site or to monitor it closely for 60 or 90 minutes a day. So the people of Kagawa Prefecture were prevented from playing the particular game. I'm sure it was a makeshift solution of the game company, but it's sad. Currently, it's only in a few games, but maybe there will be more companies that do similar measures in the future. Even though there are no penalties, it is an ordinance a duty, so no company would want to be the one that ignores the ordinance. It's really scary to think about what might happen if that happens. We can also expect to see users saying things like, I don't want to form party with Kagawa residents who can only play 6 minutes a day in online games. As anyone who plays online games will know, it's a considerable handicap to have a limited amount of time to play. There are differences in the strength of the game between someone who does 120 minutes a day and someone who can only do 60 minutes a day. When it comes to forming a party and playing together, it is better to be able to play together player who plays a longer period of time. I'm afraid that if this happens, they will form with a group of unrestricted people rather than residents of Kagawa with restriction. On a slightly different note, I didn't have a bicycle when I was about 10 years old. However, all of my friends around me had bicycles, so when everyone was going to go a little outing on their bicycle, I couldn't join them. My friend didn't want to exclude me, they simply wanted to go somewhere a little farther away to play, so I often wasn't invited to hang out by them because I didn't have a bicycle. I remember feeling very lonely, even though I understood that I was just not invited because I didn't have a bicycle. Well, eventually I learned and followed that bicycle. I'm sorry if I'm using a wrong analogy. I'm worried that something similar to this is going to happen on an online game. I only hope that the people of Kagawa Prefecture will not be subjected to prejudice and discrimination because of this. Now, that is for the issues I wanted to take up in a big way. To be honest, there are a lot of other problems. There was or wasn't any irregularity in the public comments that were references in making the ordinance. But please let me skip about it in this time, because it would be too long. Well, thank you for watching so far. How do you think about Kagawa's game addiction regulation ordinance? Of course, some people are of the opinion that it's fine to play something other than games. But unfortunately, in today's Japan, there is a noticeable decline in non-game entertainment for children. These days, there are fewer parks and other open spaces for security reasons, and even the few parks that remain have fewer playground equipment for children from the perspective of safety. Playing with balls, such as baseball or soccer, is forbidden, and some parks prohibit shouting and running. I think the purpose of this is to keep the children safe. However, as a result, the number of places where children can play outside has decreased drastically, and games which can be played indoors have become more popular. The things adults are doing that they think are for the benefit of their children are limiting their freedom. The ordinance to regulate gaming addiction seems to have a similar trend. What are children supposed to do when they are restricted from playing outside and inside? I'm sorry that this video contains a lot of my subjective opinions. I'd love to hear your frank opinions from a casual point of view, so please feel free to comment. In our other videos, we'll be introducing you to various things in Japan that are a little more pop and fun, so be sure to subscribe to our channel. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, so please follow. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!